Alright guys, today we've got this great little project to show you. It's a walnut tissue box with box joints, and then it's also got this great little colorful inlay. We chose a ginkgo leaf for our design, and we're going to pour that with wet epoxy, and we'll show you the process step by step. Main power tool we're going to use is the table saw and a dado blade for cutting those box joints. First up is making that template with a piece of 1/2 inch MDF so we can route the shape into the walnut. We'll be using a router inlay bushing to complete the template, so you want to keep your pattern kind of simple. But once you establish a picture that you like, you can go ahead and adhere that to the MDF template material with a little spray adhesive. From there, it's just a matter of cutting out the opening. I just used a hand coping saw, but if you have a power scroll saw, that would work just as well. From there, go ahead and file the shape to size, and the idea is you want to be able to run that bushing in through all parts of the opening. After that, you can switch to a little rat tail file to finish finessing the curves. At that point, we're ready to rough mill some walnut and put this template to use, and attach the template with a little bit of double-sided carpet tape. Now when you're installing that bushing on your router, remember you don't use the outer ring. We're just using the inner diameter of the bushing itself with a small diameter spiral bit. It's just an 1/8 inch bit. So the first step is to trace around the template opening in a clockwise direction, and then just take your time and go ahead and remove the rest of the waste incrementally. The parts of this project are only 3/8 of an inch thick, so your bit depth only needs to be about 1/4 of an inch. Just make sure to remove all the material in the opening before you remove the template. The router tends to leave some shapes a little bit rounded, and so if you want a nice crisp V for the inside shape of this ginkgo leaf, just take a second with a hand chisel and bring that to a sharp point. It is important to leave your material long for now, because once the epoxy is poured, we're going to be planing that flush. That extra board length will give us some room to work with as we process these boards down and get them smooth again. As far as mixing the epoxy, we're using 2-part epoxy, and this is the style that you mix 50-50, part A and part B. And we'll just add in some colorants. This orange mica colorant we've come up with uses 2 scoops of red for every 1 scoop of yellow. And we're also going to be experimenting with a green ginkgo leaf color. In this one, I think we'll use a light green mixed with a dark green and see what kind of effects we can achieve. This orange mica color we've used before, and it's a really pretty one. You can see the kind of pearl qualities of the yellow shimmering through and mixing in with the red. Now you will see a few bubbles forming, and we'll deal with that later using a heat gun or hair dryer. But using the dark and light green mixed together and just pouring them both in wet is a really fun way to get a variance in the color that you'll see, just like you might expect in nature. A leaf or a plant is not just one color, it's usually a mix of colors. So it's a fun process to just play around with it and try something different, see how it works out for you. Also, you can use a little popsicle stick or a tongue depressor to play around with the mica colorants. Finally, we'll take out the heat gun and just slowly work to warm that epoxy, and that'll help to release any bubbles as the epoxy cures. And then we'll head over to the table saw and install a 3/8 inch wide dado blade and make some box joints. remember to subscribe to the channel for more weekend projects and free content. Now the finish on this project is just a simple clear Danish oil, and then I added a top coat, which was a sprayed lacquer. Now if you're looking for a simpler wipe-on finish for the top coat, shellac would be a great choice. If you're interested in making this box joint jig for your table saw, just drop down to the description box. There you'll find links on how to make your own. Alright guys, there you go. A great little project that you can tackle in just a weekend. It'll give you a great chance to play around with colored epoxy and to master the skill of doing box joints at the table saw using a dado blade. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.